Hola, hola, hola! Today I'm going to be recapping the latest episode of Drag Race España Season 5, Red and Rossy Carpet. Wow, what an episode. España Season 5, we've been needing you. The queens walk back into the workroom after Nori's elimination, and it's starting to feel real. People are going home now. Well, not this week, but people are going home. Ferran says she really doesn't like Crystal's attitude, and this is an edit that continues throughout the episode. But more on that later. So it's a new week in the workroom and a mysterious sewing kit is on the table. A sign of things to come. Denebola plays coy, saying she's alright at sewing. I mean, come on. You aren't fooling anyone, girl. At that moment, Supreme Deluxe enters the workroom and announces that for this week's Maxi Challenge, the queens will be involved in a ball. It will be a double runway. The first category is red carpet, as in literally wearing a red carpet. The second category will be a design portion. They will need to pay tribute to the extra special guest judge this week, Rossy de Palma. So the queens need to pull a heart pin that has a number underneath the cap. In order of the number they picked, they get to choose a color frame. On the other side of that frame is a legendary look that they must use as inspiration for the design portion. However, the gag is that the queens get to choose whether to steal someone else's frame. If they decide not to, they have to pick one at random. They can only steal once. Margarita steals Laka's frame, so she has to pick a new one. Denebola steals Nyx's frame, so she has to pick a new one. And to be fair, I'm so glad that Denebola stole Nyx's frame, but more on that later. And of course, the villain of the season, Crystal, is the last to pick, and she decides to be nice for once, not stealing anyone else's frame. Also, I love that they used recycled fabrics for this challenge, very sustainable Drag Race España. Anna Locking comes to assess the queen's designs, which makes sense as she has designed some of them before. Anna is the nicest person I've interacted with online. She's honestly the sweetest and so passionate about the show. Daphne gets emotional, confessing that her mum used to be a brilliant seamstress before developing a brain tumor, and she wants to honor her with her design. On Elimination Day, things get tense between Crystal and Nyx. Crystal complains that nobody helped her with her look. She's angry because she helped everyone else and got nothing in return. She becomes quite aggressive, saying she'll do whatever the hell she wants, and telling everyone they just have to shut up. Nyx is like, you don't have to be so rude, and it's just a volatile and nasty one-sided moment from Crystal. Nyx gets quite emotional, affected by the incident, and I said last week that I couldn't understand why Crystal had it out for Nyx. However, they confirmed this week that it's basically because Nyx made an old joke about Crystal and she hasn't let it go since. Crystal asks if there's any queens that genuinely can't stand her, and nobody answers. I mean, you ain't winning hearts with that attitude, girl. And by hearts, I mean literal hearts and heart pieces. So on the main stage this evening, we have the gorgeous Supreme Deluxe. It's giving a bit Marie Antoinette. Michelle would hate it. We also have Anna Locking, Los Harveys, and extra special guest judge, Rossy de Palma. And I believe she's been a guest judge on Drag Race France before, correct me if I'm wrong. Category 1 is red carpet, and I gave my top 2 to Daphne Mugler. Wow, I love the proportions of this look. You would think there's only one way to do red carpet, but the queens provided lots of different interpretations. And in my opinion, this one was the best. Category 2 is Rossy Carpet Realness, and I gave my top 2 to Denebola Murnau. The sleeves. This is perfection. Oh my god, she's in my top 3 for a reason. So it's time for the judges' critiques. Rossy says she's thrilled and honoured by what everybody showed on the runway. Nyx, Le Escandalo, Alexandra, Eva, and Crystal are all made safe, which means the rest are the tops and bottoms of the week. First up is Ferran. They loved her first look with the chains, and how she made the second look her own. It was very unique, showing her personality. As positive as that sounds though, they were also saying that she needed to give a lot more. Next is Satin Greco. They loved her first look, saying it was a real showstopper. Unfortunately, the second look was a lot less inspiring. They said they don't see her in it. Daphne is in the top for her camp, extravagant first look, and the second look was absolutely exquisite. It was a wonderful tribute to her mother. She is so beautiful. I think Daphne has it all, and that's a lot to say coming from a queen that's only 20 years old. Margarita gets credit for using a quilting technique, but is told her design look was a bit disjointed. The top half didn't really suit the bottom half. Laka is praised for a flawless first look, and her second look I absolutely loved. This was my second favorite of the night. I just think she's so gorgeous. It was a perfect statement. It was perfectly styled. She is muy peligrosa. Last but certainly not least, we have Denebola Murnau, and they saved the best till last. They loved the draping in the first look. It was expensive and elegant. And her design look is just perfect. It gets an over from Anna Locking and Javier Ambrosi. He says it's one of the best looks they've seen in Drag Race España history. Back at Untucked, Crystal says she's surprised she's safe. She thought she would be in the bottom. On the other hand, Nick says she thought she would have been in the top, but she's happy she's safe. And of course, it cuts to an eye roll from Crystal. I don't think this is just about an age joke. Let's be real, she's jealous of Nyx. Saturn gags the hell out of everyone, saying that she's tired and she wants to go home. Girl, you were top 2 in episode 1. Why are you so disheartened? Back on the main stage, Donebula gets her very first win, very well deserved. This leaves Ferran, Margarita, and Saturn as the bottom 3. What a turnaround from last week. We then get a message from the magic mirror, and it's Nori telling Saturn Greco that she left her piece of heart for her. This gives Saturn the opportunity to save herself or one of the bottom 2. And the absolute gag of the season is she chooses to save Ferran instead of herself. Nobody was expecting that. She says she did it because she didn't mind leaving the competition if her time was up. She's happy with everything she has shown. And this leaves her heart counter at 0. This means Saturn Greco and Margarita have to lip sync it out. They perform to Una Estrella en mi Jardín by Mari Trini. It was the perfect song for both of them. They showed so much emotion. Everyone was crying, including me. And so Supreme does the only thing that makes sense. She saves them both. Yes, we've only had one elimination in 3 episodes, but who the hell cares? You just couldn't send either of them home after that performance. And I honestly feel like they rewarded Saturn for her kind heart and generosity. After all, this is the season of the heart. And what better way to show that than doing something selfless? I don't think they expected that to happen, and they didn't want to lose Saturn. So my friends, what did you think of this week's phenomenal episode? This season is firing on all cylinders. I'm so impressed. Next week is a performance-based challenge. I'm very excited for that one. It sounds like a double elimination is coming. But as always, give me all the tea and I'll see you very soon for another video.